In the heart of a desolate town, shrouded in perpetual fog, stood the dilapidated remnants of St. Agnes Asylum. It loomed like a sinister spectre. Its decaying facade whispered tales of forgotten horrors. The townsfolk avoided the place, having long deemed it cursed. But the curious souls who dared venture close could feel the air grow thick with an otherworldly malevolence. It was a moonless night when Emily, a thrill-seeker with a penchant for the macabre, convinced
Music licensing reimagined.
The abandoned asylum. The group, armed with flashlights and nervous laughter, approached the creaking gates. Rust had claimed the metal, and the ominous squeal echoed through the desolate surroundings as they pushed them open. As they crossed the threshold, the air became dense with a palpable unease. The darkness inside seemed to swallow their feeble beams of light. The floor beneath their feet groaned, as if the very foundation of the asylum
Artlist.io.
The group crept through echoing hallways, their footsteps accompanied by the occasional distant shuffle, sending shivers down their spines. It was as if the walls themselves whispered the secrets of the tormented souls that once inhabited these forsaken halls. They stumbled upon a room.
Music licensing reimagined.
The of a shattered stained glass window casting fragmented shadows on the walls. In the center of the room stood a decrepit piano, its keys coated in a thick layer of dust. Emily, a musician, approached tentatively. As she pressed a key, the silence shattered, and a haunting melody echoed through the asylum, as if the very soul of the building was mourning its own demise. The group exchanged uneasy glances, contemplating
Artlist.io.
whether to proceed or flee. But Emily's curiosity was a potent force, pushing them deeper into the bowels of the asylum. They reached a hallway lined with cells, each containing remnants of the asylum's dark history. Rusty shackles hung from the walls, a cruel reminder of the suffering that transpired within.
Music licensing
In
reimagined.
one particularly ominous cell, Emily found an old, tattered diary. Its yellowed pages chronicled the descent of the asylum into madness, revealing tales of cruel experiments and inhumane treatments. As she read aloud, the air in the corridor grew colder, and shadows danced on the walls as if the tormented souls were reliving their anguish. The group, now gripped by a sense of foreboding, stumbled upon the asylum's former medical wing.
Artlist.io.
Broken gurneys and shattered glass littered the floor, and the stench of decay lingered in the air. In a dimly lit room, they discovered a row of jars, each containing a preserved organ. The label on one jar sent shivers down their spines. Experiment 37, the failed transcendence.
Music licensing reimagined.
A distant sound echoed through the corridor, a rhythmic, ghostly chanting that seemed to resonate from the very walls. The group followed the haunting melody until they reached a chamber adorned with cryptic symbols.
Artlist.io.
In the center, an old phonograph played an eerie tune, amplifying the unsettling choir that seemed to emerge from the shadows themselves. Suddenly, the temperature plummeted, and the air thickened with an oppressive force. Shadows twisted and contorted, forming grotesque figures that danced around the
Music
room.
licensing
The group,
reimagined.
paralyzed by fear, witnessed the spectral manifestation of the asylum's tortured past. Whispers of agony echoed, merging with the ghostly chants as if the very essence of suffering was alive within those walls. In a desperate attempt to escape, the group retraced their steps through the labyrinthine corridors. But the asylum seemed to resist their departure, its malevolent force intensifying with each passing moment. As they reached
Artlist.io.
the doors slammed shut with a deafening thud, sealing them inside. Panicking, the group fumbled with the doors, their frantic efforts met with an oppressive silence. The asylum seemed to come alive, its very structure conspiring against their escape. The haunting melody crescendoed, and the
Music
walls
licensing
pulsated with
reimagined.
With dread sinking in, the group stumbled upon the piano room. Emily, her hands trembling, approached the instrument. As her fingers touched the keys, a ghastly wail reverberated through the asylum, as if the souls trapped within sought relief. In the dim light, the group saw phantoms materializing, the tormented spirits of the asylum's victims. Faces twisted in agony, ethereal hands reaching out in
Artlist.io.
silent supplication. The room filled with an anguished symphony as the spirits merged with the haunting melody, their collective lamentation echoing through the forsaken halls. Terrified and surrounded by the spectral manifestation of the asylum's dark past, the group huddled together. The air grew colder.
Music
The very
licensing
fabric of reality
reimagined.
seemed to warp around them. As the ghostly chorus reached its zenith, the asylum itself seemed to scream, a deafening roar that reverberated through time and space. And then, with a sudden stillness, the asylum released its grip. The doors swung open, and the group stumbled into the night, the echoes of the spectral symphony fading behind them. The asylum, having fed on their fear, returned to its slumber, awaiting the next
Artlist.io.
dare to awaken its haunted history. As the group emerged into the moonlit night, they gazed back at the forsaken asylum, its skeletal frame disappearing into the fog. The air was thick with a lingering unease, and the town below seemed to hold its breath, as if aware of the ancient malevolence that
Music
shrouded in the
licensing
decaying walls of
reimagined.
St. Agnes Asylum.